Lyra's ship descended silently above the neon-lit skyline, its dark silhouette merging with the night. Below, Nathan Cole worked late in his cluttered lab, unaware that his life teetered on the edge of an interstellar directive. She studied him through translucent optics, noting the subtle rise and fall of his chest, the focus in his eyes, the instinctive kindness with which he handled the fragile experiment. Every protocol drilled into her demanded elimination, yet each human quirk, his pause to rescue a fallen insect, the careful placement of tools, ignited something alien within her. Curiosity, hesitation, empathy. Tonight, the mission was clear, but Lyra felt the first stirring of doubt, a foreign pulse that threatened to fracture centuries of cold obedience. Nathan fumbled with a tiny robotic prototype, muttering calculations under his breath. Lyra watched from the shadows, her mission blurring as curiosity anchored her gaze. Something in his relentless focus and meticulous care struck her. Humans were fragile, chaotic, yet capable of surprising ingenuity. She had come to end him, but each action he took stirred an unexpected protective instinct. The first strike almost failed. Lyra infiltrated the lab, the hum of her cloaking device masking her approach. Nathan turned sharply, narrowly evading the lethal energy pulse. Frustration sparked within her. His unpredictability was human, chaotic, alive. For the first time, failure felt like a choice, not a flaw. Hidden in the shadows, Lyra watched Nathan rescue a lab assistant from an accidental chemical spill. The selflessness of the act sent ripples through her conscience. She felt something alien, admiration. Each human choice now seemed deliberate, meaningful. A quiet rebellion against the cold universe she had known. Lyra's hesitation deepened. Orders transmitted from the Overseer insisted on elimination, but the human before her radiated an unexpected value she could not compute. The mission was simple, binary, and yet she lingered, torn between duty and a nascent sense of guardianship. Tonight, the hunter had paused, and the protector quietly emerged. A hidden alien trap activated as Nathan leaned over his workstation, unaware of the danger. Lyra intervened instantly, pushing him aside just as the energy pulse struck. His eyes widened, startled, but gratitude replaced fear. Lyra's mission code clashed with instinct. She had saved the target, not eliminated him. Protection became the first rule of engagement, a rule written by empathy rather than command. Nathan misread Lyra's interventions as coincidence, random malfunctions, lucky timing, improbable rescues. Each coincidence strengthened the bond, forming invisibly a thread of trust spun by actions he could not yet explain. Meanwhile, Lyra observed, analyzing his every reaction, measuring humanity against her centuries of cold logic. Curiosity overcame caution. Lyra allowed a faint holographic shimmer to reveal her hand briefly, letting Nathan glimpse her alien physiology. Pale skin, faint bioluminescent veins, silver eyes. Shock flickered in his hazel gaze, but it was tempered by awe rather than fear. Secrets were no longer absolute. Exposure marked the first step toward connection. Nathan's investigative instincts awakened. Small anomalies, the strange shadows, the improbable timing of near accidents, led him to wonder about unseen guardians. Lyra shadowed him, each movement precise yet protective. Her centuries of training now bending to human unpredictability. A rival assassin breached the perimeter. Lyra's reflexes sharpened. In a fluid blur of motion, she intercepted the threat. Nathan watched in stunned fascination as she deflected attacks with deadly precision. The line between hunter and protector blurred completely. Lyra was no longer executing orders. She fought for him, and for the first time, she understood why. Nathan's research uncovered an alien artifact hidden in plain sight, a device meant to monitor his genetic potential for galactic diplomacy. The revelation shook him. His life was not merely his own, but a pivot on which alien-human relations balanced. Lyra watched silently, her centuries of loyalty and training colliding with the fragile, brilliant value of humanity. Nathan's hazel eyes met hers, searching for answers she was not yet ready to give, and she realized that protection was no longer optional. It was imperative. Lyra confronted the weight of centuries of obedience. The Overseer's commands had always been absolute, but this time, the target's significance was more than orders. It was the potential for peace. Her mind raced through protocols and ethics, old instincts clashing with a newfound allegiance. The centuries of cold precision in her veins quivered as she considered a choice she had never been allowed: defiance. An ambush shattered the night. Lyra and Nathan were surrounded by alien enforcers. Lyra's agility and centuries of combat experience met human ingenuity as they moved in tandem. Nathan dodged, improvised, and coordinated instinctively, earning her silent respect. In the chaos, trust became survival. Her loyalty was cemented not by orders, but by the recognition that Nathan's life carried weight far beyond herself. Nathan began relying on her presence, intuitively understanding when to act and when to trust the unseen guardian beside him. Lyra observed, fascinated by human adaptability, their chaos and ingenuity a stark contrast to her structured centuries. With each shared maneuver, each narrow escape, the bond deepened, a fragile but undeniable connection forming across species, time, and purpose. Lyra uncovered fragments of the Overseer's true agenda. Humanity's potential as a bridge for interstellar alliances was being exploited, and Nathan's life was a linchpin. The weight of this truth solidified her decision. Protection was no longer optional. It was rebellion, defiance, and perhaps the first act of morality she had ever chosen freely. In that moment, the hunter became the shield, her centuries of training now devoted to one fragile, brilliant human life. Alien enforcers descended upon the city like a storm, their presence unseen, but felt in every shadow. Lyra guided Nathan through narrow alleyways, her every movement calculated, silent, protective. The human's life was no longer abstract. It was immediate, urgent. Each pulse of neon light revealed another threat, and each decision she made defied centuries of obedience. The hunter had become the guardian, and the consequences were immediate and lethal. Nathan discovered alien tech embedded within the city infrastructure, devices capable of surveillance and attack. The revelation was staggering. The world itself was a monitored battlefield. Lyra's protective instincts flared. Every device Nathan touched risked triggering lethal defenses. She moved with him, a living shield, blending centuries of training with an instinctive human empathy she barely understood. Lyra hesitated to eliminate rivals in full view, choosing instead to protect Nathan from a distance. Each calculated move drew her further from the orders of the Overseer, and closer to a personal code of loyalty she had never known. Every step was a risk, every intervention a silent declaration. The human's life mattered more than obedience. A human colleague was taken hostage in the chaos, forcing Lyra to act decisively. With precise, lethal movements, she neutralized the threat, her every strike a blend of alien agility and focused strategy. Nathan witnessed the deadly beauty of her intervention, understanding fully that his survival, and the survival of those he cared for, depended on this improbable alliance. Lyra's defiance was complete. Orders from the Overseer could no longer bind her. Every calculated motion, every risk taken to protect Nathan, carried the weight of rebellion. The hunter had transformed entirely into a protector, a silent guardian willing to gamble centuries of existence for the fragile human whose life had unexpectedly become sacred. The Overseer's holographic projection filled the darkened room, voice cold and absolute. Complete the mission, Lyra, or face termination. Centuries of obedience demanded compliance, but Lyra's resolve had crystallized. Nathan's life was no longer a variable. It was a constant. She defied the command, a silent roar against the galaxy's tyranny. Rebellion was dangerous, but it was the only choice that mattered. A weaponized alien device targeted Nathan directly, a pulse of destructive energy slicing toward him. Lyra acted without hesitation, intercepting the blast with her body. Pain radiated through her, a rare vulnerability exposed for the sake of the human she had come to protect. Nathan's shock turned into desperate aid as he realized the depth of her sacrifice. Injuries slowed her movements, revealing her mortality beneath centuries of precision. Nathan, guided by intuition and courage, began stabilizing her, improvising a protective field from lab equipment and alien tech. In that fragile exchange, they became equals, not hunter and prey, but allies bound by trust, survival, and an unspoken, growing bond. Nathan's ingenuity complemented Lyra's centuries of skill. Every device he rigged, every calculated motion, reinforced their partnership. She realized that humans were capable of bravery and brilliance in chaos, and in that understanding, her commitment deepened. Protection was no longer instinct. It was devotion, forged in fire and peril. Lyra made an unspoken vow. Nathan's life would be safeguarded at any cost, even if it meant defying the Overseer permanently. Rebellion had become purpose. Loyalty had transformed into a sacred bond, and sacrifice was no longer theoretical. In the chaos of a collapsing cityscape, Protector and human were inseparable, their fates entwined in a story neither had anticipated. Lyra and Nathan moved through the city's ruined corridors, planning a counterattack against the Overseer's forces. Every step was precise, every glance calculated. Nathan's human ingenuity complemented her alien reflexes, creating a fluid partnership of strategy and instinct. The city had become a battlefield, but together they were a force neither human nor alien had anticipated. A breathtaking chase erupted across neon-lit streets. Alien patrols pursued them relentlessly, but Lyra's agility and Nathan's quick thinking kept them just ahead. Every turn, every leap, every improvised trap brought them closer to confrontation with the Overseer. The line between survival and annihilation blurred in the pulsating chaos of the city. Nathan proved his courage in the chaos. His quick thinking and daring improvisation saved both their lives multiple times, earning Lyra's respect and admiration. She realized that humans were capable of bravery that transcended logic, and in that realization, the Protector and the Protected became inseparable, each trusting the other with instinctive certainty. The Overseer materialized above them in a massive holographic form, a chilling reminder of the power Lyra defied. Lyra faced a life-or-death choice: follow orders or protect Nathan at the ultimate risk. Her decision crystallized instantly. She would stand as shield and sword, guardian of the human whose life had become her own cause. Sacrifice was inevitable. Lyra intercepted a lethal attack aimed at Nathan, taking the full force herself. Her body arched against the impact, bioluminescent veins flaring with pain, yet her expression remained resolute. Nathan reached out instinctively, their bond cemented through shared danger. In that instant, centuries of training, rebellion, and trust converged. The hunter had become the ultimate protector, laying everything on the line for humanity. The city lay in ruins, neon lights flickering through the haze of smoke and rain. Nathan Cole, 32, walked among the debris, reflecting on the hidden world he had glimpsed. The fragile line between human ingenuity and alien power. Lyra was nowhere to be seen, but her presence lingered in every shadow and every heartbeat. He realized that survival was more than chance. It was a testament to bonds forged in chaos and courage. Humanity began to stir with awareness of alien interference, cautiously seeking a new understanding. The seeds of tentative cooperation were planted, nurtured by the memory of one protector's sacrifice. Nathan knew the galaxy had shifted, and that fragile trust between species was now possible. A bridge built on courage and compassion. In a quiet corner of his lab, Nathan constructed a memorial, not for glory, but for gratitude. Tiny alien artifacts, subtle nods to the unseen guardians who had fought and bled for human life, became symbols of remembrance. In this act of creation, he honored the protector who had reshaped his destiny. Lyra watched from a distance, cloaked in shadows, invisible yet vigilant. Her mission had transformed, her purpose rewritten by empathy, rebellion, and trust. Though unseen, her protection endured, an unspoken guardian over humanity, her centuries of existence now devoted to a fragile world she had once been sent to destroy. The city exhaled under the tentative dawn, a bridge between worlds quietly forming. Nathan and Lyra's bond transcended species, orders, and centuries of expectation. What began as a mission of death had become a story of protection, sacrifice, and enduring trust. The universe was vast, uncertain, but in the quiet moments between chaos and calm, hope persisted, anchored by the human he saved and the alien who had chosen to protect him.